Hello and welcome to a replay of a F1 2020 weekly event which took place just recently. Driving at the Suzuka Japanese Grand Prix in classic cars, I am driving Kimi Raikkonen's 2007 Ferrari in the Category 1 classic cars, which includes the 2004 Ferrari, perhaps the quickest car in the game outside of the F1 2020 cars, the 2010 championship contenders in McLaren, Red Bull, Ferrari, 2006 Renault, etc. So I started recording this video a little bit after the start. I forgot to start recording at the beginning of the race, but anywho, we have joined in. I forget where exactly we started, but we are running P6, chasing the Fernando Alonso, Felipe Massa's 2010 Ferrari up ahead. Lap 2 it is, and we are driving very smoothly at the moment relative to the cars ahead, because we're able to gain little increments of time all the time. We approach Spoon Curve and as we trail through, we're just monitoring our performance to the cars ahead, demonstrating that our pace is there, despite the fact that this is perhaps a slower car, especially with the groove tyres, which you do sort of feel the difference between slick and groove tyres in this game. The groove tyres, especially in the long corners and turning at least, the way in which the tyres interact with the surface, it's a little bit scruffy. And it's just the way in which the rubber is laid down on the track. Definite disadvantage from groove tyres, and it's a good thing that Formula 1 cars don't race in them anymore. You actually listen to the drivers that did drive on the groove tyres, and they said that the grip levels were just that little bit less. And the whole reason the groove tyres were brought in back in 1998 to 2008 was to slow the cars down, because they were setting new heights and new speeds. As we get on to lap 3, we're really stalking the 2010 Ferrari real close here, catching up closely through the first sector. As we get into the Degner 1 and Degner 2, trailing nice and close behind. It runs a little bit on the dirt, but we're not making any inroads. We actually lose a little bit of time. Now approaching the hairpin. We're going to try and brake late. And in fact, we actually brake pretty early. Take the inside line, whereas the 2010 Ferrari takes the outside line and gets a pretty good exit away from us. I think perhaps a little bit of a speed advantage, straight line speed advantage to us though. It might be due to setup, it might be due to the fact that we do have a slightly quicker car in the straight line, the 2007 Ferrari relative to the 2010. And finally we get to the back half of the lap. We're getting a real good run now. Approaching 130 yard, we're going to go around the outside just like Fernando Alonso did on Michael Schumacher in 2005, and we pulled it off.
Nice move.
Ooh, we get tagged from behind. Going to the final chicane, bumped off.
Okay, he pushed me off the track. I think you have to leave a space. All the time you have to leave a space.
Goodness me, this is online racing in a nutshell. You make a clean overtake and the next second you get clipped from behind, and it no longer becomes nice clean racing, it becomes argy-bargy dodgems or ping-pong, as contemporary Formula 1 drivers have referred to in the past. Lap 4, we're stalking, look at that, we're so much quicker. Our lines, our speed through the S section, through the mid-speed corners is so much quicker. As we're in the first sector, he's gone off.
Karma.
He's gone off and we're laughing. I remember laughing when that happened, because that was just karma. Absolute karma. We've got ourselves ahead, and now we've got some free air to chase down the rest of the field ahead of us, running now P5. There's 9 laps to go, and I am confident we've got the speed to get us real close to the top end of the field. Podium is what we're aiming for. Online racing, as I said, you can do your clean overtakes, but a lot of the time you will, due to latency, due to lazy driving, due to many factors, you will have your hard racing which becomes conflictual, and you end up playing dodgems and bumper cars. We're staying on board through lap 5 now, just to demonstrate that our speed, especially this clear air, is exemplary to the cars ahead. The 2010 McLaren now in front of us, and it looks like the 2004 Ferrari ahead of the McLaren as well. So really making good inroads here. Just our clean lines, our clean entries and exits are giving us the pace advantage to get up right behind. Passing will be another matter. approaching the chicane, we accidentally flick it into neutral, which doesn't help our cause, and our exit speed out of the chicane onto the beginning of lap 6 in the main straight. But we're still stalking right behind the McLaren, gaining through the slipstream. We're maxing out our revs as we get into the first sector again, through the fast-flowing sector. Such an amazing sequence of corners of the entire Formula 1 calendar. Is the right hand, the left hand, the right hand again, and then it comes a left hand and another right hand again. It's just such a flowing segment of corners, and when you get it right, it's up there with the most satisfying sequence of corners. It's not nearly as good as Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium, which is my favourite circuit.
Caution, caution.
But anywho, dressing into the second sector, we're still trailing just behind the McLaren. Not able to make an inroads. As I said, it's going to be difficult to make an overtake, but we're going to stay on board just to show the comparative and the contest that we have in our hands, because we're able to get real close, but just making that extra step to make an overtake is proving to be just that little touch away from our grasp at this point in time. Beginning lap 7 now, we'll get a good exit. We're right behind the McLaren still. Again, we're looking to try and just realising we're going to try and put some pressure on. Pressure is going to be the way that we get through. That's how we got past the 2010 Ferrari. We always look at the inside, we don't get enough space, and it wasn't going to head anywhere. The idea is if we can just get right behind and put the McLaren under pressure, force them into mistake, or it will give us the open door that we need to push through. Whilst there are overtaking opportunities on Suzuka, the Suzuka layout, at the moment the car differences, the pace difference is not clear enough for us to just waltz ahead. If we were in the 2004 Ferrari, perhaps we could use our straight line speed just to get ahead and focus on getting tight corners, smooth corners to excel at the long straights. But for the time being, we're just having to bide our time, try and force a mistake. We're getting so close and so often, and looking and putting phantom moves to demonstrate that we're perhaps willing, or just nudging a dive or around the outside manoeuvre, tempting a rash defensive manoeuvre from the McLaren, but they're not taking it. They're driving very well, actually. This McLaren is driving exceedingly well, driving really good defensive lines, blocking any potential dive down the inside manoeuvre, especially into the final chicane. And the pressure we're putting on is being matched by the perseverance.
You're dropping a second a lap to the car behind, 1 second.
Definitely the most satisfying thing about online racing, especially with Formula 1 games and Formula 1 2020 in particular, is this online contest that you can have, where instead of just the AI racing against the AI, you're racing against people, and the satisfaction of pulling off a good overtake is 10 times better than a satisfying overtake on AI. Approaching into the hairpin on lap 8, we can see that also the Ferrari, we're just, if we could get past these two cars, we could really put some airtime between ourselves and the rest of the field. Not that it's not likely we're going to make any inroads, particularly with the fastest lap being set by the lead Ferrari running first, but we could seriously give ourselves a good chance to break away from the pack and solidify a solid, comfortable second place finish. But these two cars just putting their cars in the right place on the tarmac, we're unable to get past, and therefore we're hindered. We just can't take the optimal line, as we need to free ourselves of the dirty air, free ourselves of this combative driving style. If we can get through, we can focus all our energy and efforts into putting just smooth, quick laps in. Lap 9 now. We're still trailing just behind the McLaren, getting the end of the long straights. We're able to get right in behind, but we still just cannot make any solid moves to the inside or the outside of any of the corners just yet. We're still trying to pry the McLaren into a mistake, which will allow us to get into third place and challenge the next Ferrari up the road. Nothing is giving way yet. Approaching the Degners, we've got a real good run. Real close. We're going to try and match. Yes, he's taken a more acute line. Our exit speed's not good, but we tried. We tried to get a smoother exit whilst he took an acute line. Unfortunately, it didn't pay off. Into the hairpin, we get a pretty average exit, and now the McLaren darts off again. It's going to make our task even harder this lap. We just have to keep battling away. Think long and hard about what we need to do. Well, he's run wide at the end of the exit of Spoon. This is going to give us a great opportunity going downhill, uphill, into 130R. Can we make a move into 130R? Right behind. Take the inside line. Now the outside. We solved the dummy. We're going to go around the outside, and then it flips to the inside. Going to the chicane. Down the outside. Who's going to break first? It's about even. But we just can't get it. We cannot do it. We get the wrong line into the chicane. We get a good exit out of the chicane onto the main straight. It's close, right in front of the pit wall, side by side. Now we're on the outside line. This will surely give us the optimal line going into the first corner. But he's still just on the inside. We have the optimal line. We get the move done. We finally get our way through the McLaren, who also incurs a 3-second penalty, no doubt for corner or track limit infringements. We've finally got a little bit of clear air, but we've got one more car to pass with 3 laps to go. It's a superior Ferrari, I believe, but I'm confident at the pace we have, we can get the job done. Heading towards the hairpin, we notice we've got an exit. We've got a far better exit through the Degners. Yes, the 2004 Ferrari, which should technically not be as quick as this, getting a good exit out of the hairpin, a much better one than the 2004 Ferrari, but he's going to have so much more straight line speed compared to us. The V10 versus the V8 Ferrari engine of ours. He should be going miles ahead, especially going in 130R, but he's taken an awful line. He's got some dirt on the tyres. We're going to get an excellent exit out of Spoon corner. But again, the straight line speed is just so much better in the 2004 Ferrari. Now approaching 130R, we've got no answer for this at the moment. We're going to have to bide our time yet again, try and make a mistake, force a mistake. If we unfortunately incur a track limit penalty. Right, 2 laps to go. We're going to force a mistake. We're setting a good laps. Good lap times, relatively speaking, but we know we can be better. We can be so much quicker if we get some free air. We're going to jump ahead as the Ferrari ahead keeps running on the grass, dirting the tyres, taking irregular lines and proper lines, not helping his cause, but definitely giving us the advantage. Just focusing on smooth exits and entries into the flowing first sector of Suzuka. Approaching the Degners. Again, keep it smooth, keep it tidy, nothing too aggressive, nothing too defensive. Just keeping it smooth. Staying in the wake of the 2004 Ferrari, who's taken a very unusual, pretty too sharp of a line into the hairpin again. We get a pretty good exit, but again that straight line speed is going to allow the Ferrari to take off away from us. But let's hope that into Spoon we can gain some more advantage. Yes, out the exit of the Spoon, he's taken again a pretty poor line. I reckon this is perhaps the pressure I've been talking about, is that it's forcing the other drivers to make rash decisions in corner entries and exits, and the racing lines they take. And us keeping a cool, calm, leveled head allows us to close in, creep in, and get better flow through the racetrack, as now approaching lap 12, the penultimate lap. We're really close despite the speed difference going into turn 1. There's any room here. We've got some yellow flags ahead which may or may not help us. As we go through the sector 1, we're just trying right behind. Oh, he's taken a wrong line. He's got a little bit of shape. We're going to try and stick around the outside. He's going to run wide. So we take it a little bit defensive, go around the outside now, and we've made the move stick. We've played that excellently. We saw how he took a sharper line in, which meant that he's going to force himself out wider than he would have liked. And we saw that break a little bit earlier, tidied our line to go and dive down the inside, which then became the outside, and our superior speed in that process allowed us to flow right around that side, going through the chicane. There's a car behind us that we're actually lapping and scrapping wildly over some tarmac, and one of the 2003 Williams has gone backwards. On the final lap, our speed, as you can see, we put some good tenths of seconds ahead of the cars behind. Just goes to show that our speed, our tenacity to maintain discipline and racing lines, and smooth entries and exits has been superior. And this is why we managed to extract more out of the car and overtake the superior 2004 Ferrari in our inferior 2007 Ferrari and work our way up to P2, considering at the start of the video we were P6. This is what online racing is all about. It's not being the quickest outright in speed, it's about being the most consistent. As we approach the finishing line, a comfortable P2, giving the cars behind out a penalty, but we've done a fantastic race on it. It was a satisfying race, overtaking cars that were quicker than us, more superior to us in different aspects, but we've got the job done. And it is these sort of results which makes online racing in Formula 1 2020 so satisfying. The end of another enjoyable F1 2020 weekly event sees us bag a solid second place. We started P15 and we're able to come second place, avoiding any penalties. As you can see, typical of F online racing, a lot of drivers pick up time penalties due to collisions, due to track violations, corner cutting, etc. We're still 42 seconds behind the winner though. Nonetheless, massively satisfied with the result. The weekly events of F1 2020 have probably been the highlight for me. I've participated in many of them, and just always enjoying the challenge of pitting myself in a superior or inferior car and trying to see what I can extract out of it. If you've made it this far in the video and stuck around, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like and comment, subscribe, whatever floats your boat really. I'll be making more Formula 1 content in future, and also endeavouring to include more content of other various games as well. Possibly some Battlefield Bad Company 2 videos, or Battlefield in general. I've got plenty of old Battlefield games that I like to play. And some Star Wars content will probably be coming in the not too distant future as well. Thank you once again. Take it easy. See you next time.